The following is an exclusive presentation of Jessup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
4 minutes after 8 o'clock, Big Dog Country, WIFO FM in Jessup, 105.5 FM. Here we are on this Monday morning, 22nd day of March. And Bob, how's your bracket?
Trash.
It's in the trash. It's out of here.
It's
Huh?
in the trash.
Yeah, but you still got Bama, don't you?
Yeah, Bama's still alive.
Yeah, you got Bama winning the whole thing, so it's not totally in the trash yet, Bob.
It is in the trash.
Ohio State for everybody.
Ohio State, Illinois gone.
Yeah, but still, you go for the winner, the total all winner. You still got that total all winner in your bracket.
That's right. It's still alive.
Still alive and doing well. Okay.
Could be beat today, though. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the crazy NCAA basketball tournament? March Madness is madness because you just never can tell who's going to win out there. But we do have a guest in our studio this morning. Usually we have Mondays with Meeks, with Representative Stephen Meeks, but he's in a meeting right now and was unable to call in this morning. But we do have in the studio Kevin Brigman. And Kevin is in here to talk about funny stuff. Isn't that right, Kevin?
That's right.
Get a little closer to the mic.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I'm bringing stand-up comedy shows to South Georgia. So.
Okay. So you were in here in 2019, and you were talking at that time about, doing stand-up comedy and wanting to do more of it. So tell us what has developed since then.
Well, 2019, we were doing once a month shows up at Angels.
Who's we?
Jeremy Dent was put them on. I was hosting, and we were bringing in different traveling headliners that I would open for. And honestly, got me a lot of good experience early on because usually as an opener, you're doing open mics, going wherever you can when you first start out. Still to this day, I travel to Savannah and Jacksonville regularly just to get stage time in. There's no real comedy scene in South Georgia. So we were bringing something unique here. And it was able to let me network with big comedians, take advice from them. It was really helped me grow a lot faster. Plus, normally you take a 5-minute set, and you work that set for a year until you got it down, until you got your jokes perfect, until it's flawless. I was writing a new 15 minutes every month. Just because I knew I was going in front of the same people the next month. Same core crowd. You had your regulars that came, and you'd have some new folks, but I didn't want to give them the same jokes over and over. In fact, I did Mr. Wayne County was the first time I'd ever did stand-up comedy, and it was a dream of mine since a child. And I did really good my first time on stage, going up in front of 200 people, which is unusual to go up that early.
Right.
Won the entertainment division that night, and I said, well, it's realistic. I could actually go after this dream now, trying stand-up comedy.
A lot of people might not realize the timing that goes into doing comedy. You got to have your timing down just right, your voice inflection, your facial expressions, the wording. And, you got to practice that as much as an athlete practices to be in a big game on Friday or Saturday or something like that. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yes, sir, definitely. It's a lot different than hanging out with your buddies and telling a joke you've heard someone else tell or just saying something funny than taking it on stage. Anytime I'm anywhere, there's always some old man that wants to tell me his favorite, what we call street joke.
Street joke.
And I love a good street. I grew up telling jokes. That was what me and my buddies did in school, but you don't take that on stage anymore. Back in the early times, 40s, 50s, when comedy was really starting, they did a lot of one-liners and stand-up like that, but those days are over. You
mainly talk about your experiences in life, or your imagined experiences in life. You see a lot of stories these days from comedians that talk about their buddies or their wife or their girlfriend or work, or they're just kind of a story type thing that just keeps building and building.
Yes, sir. I'm definitely a storyteller. That's how I consider myself. Almost everything I tell is based on something I saw or experienced, and you embellish a little. That's part of comedy,
right?
But there is way more truth to it than people realize. Anytime something funny happens around the house, I immediately start, how can I work that as a joke?
Right.
I got a 2-year-old daughter. She's always doing something funny.
Oh, yeah.
I got an 18-year-old son. He's always doing something dumb. There's going to be some comedy that comes out of that.
2-year-old funny, 18-year-old dumb, huh?
And I'm married, so, there's always comedy there.
Yeah.
In fact, my wife, and she does something, I said, oh, I'm taking it on stage, right? And she goes, oh, no, don't do that. That's something I'm definitely taking on stage. I'm like, you said don't do it. It's got to pay.
Got to work it in there. Got to work it in there, huh?
So we take Mary marriage counseling. It's marriage counseling and comedy.
Kevin Brigman in here this morning to tell us, Kevin, you requested time to be on the world famous Butch and Bob Show this morning. What you got coming up?
Yes, sir. So once a month, now the coronavirus is starting to ease off some, and people are getting vaccinated, and people are ready to get out. They're ready to do stuff. Every time I do a show, even these little open mics in Savannah, we got 30, 40 people showing up. They're just wanting to see something. They're wanting to get out of the house. They want to have some fun. So I said, well, we got to start doing comedy again. So last month, I put on my first show of 2021 in Brunswick, the Wee Pub over there. I do shows, and it sold out in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, we sold, I think, right at 80 tickets. And I brought in a great headliner that has been doing comedy for 25 years. I brought in a good feature act out of Florida, another opener out of Florida that's really blowing up right now, and then I usually host the night and do 10 or 15 minutes myself. So this month will be the first one in Jessup. This Saturday, I'll be having one at Station 6, which is at 106 West Pine Street. It's where the old Doc Holidays used to be underneath the overpass.
Station 106?
Station 6.
Station 6.
Yeah, so that used to be Jessup's name back in the day. Jessup was Station 6 on the rail line.
Oh, it was, okay.
So, and that was where they did that was like a train depot where they stored everything. So when these guys, Danny Wingate bought it, Danny Maria, and they took it over and opened it up. They're trying to get it back going. So I'm trying to pump
back going as what?
He has food, and it kind of how Doc Holidays was, food and a little tavern there.
Okay.
And so I said, well, let's put on some events. Let's do something. You got a nice big banquet hall there that I can put on comedy.
Right.
And so I have a show Friday night in Brunswick. That the very next night, the same people are going to come over here and do a show here in Jessup.
So you're going to be where Friday night in Brunswick?
Friday night at the Wee Pub. Yes.
The what?
Wee Pub. It's it's over near Walmart, 267 Village at Glen Place.
All right.
That venue has done so much for me. When I came to them with comedy, because they're new owners of that place, they knocked down a wall for me. They built a stage. They put in a spotlight and said, let's go full force with this thing.
Okay.
So once a month, my show's there, and I want to bring that same success here to Wayne County because a lot of people from Jessup drove over for that show. So this month, I have the headliner's name is Sean Finnerty. He's a comic that's been on Tonight Show. He's been on Comedy Central. He's been on NBC Comedy Show. He's from Ireland. Travels all over the U.S. doing comedy.
Okay.
So,
and he's going to be headliner this Saturday night at Station 6.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
His opening or his feature act is Tom Feeney. He's a comedian out of Florida that goes around and features for him wherever he goes. The opening act is coming from Warner Robbins. Her name is Dee Nunn. I worked with her. I did the Savannah Comedy Contest at the end of 2020. And she was one of the contestants. I really liked her comedy. I said, let's work together in the near future. And I'll be hosting that night, and I'll do 10 or 15 myself.
All right. And what time will it begin Saturday there at Station 6?
It will start at 9 o'clock at night. Doors open at 7. And it'll be $15 cover charge at the door for the comedy show. Or they can get tickets in advance by getting hold of me.
And so once again, how many comedians will there be?
4 comedians. You're looking at an hour and a half to 2 hours of comedy for $15. You're seeing a nationally touring headliner. I mean, this is normally a ticket that costs you $20, $25 to get in and see somebody.
Yeah. And they always say that laughter is the best medicine, and so it would be great to be able to go and just laugh and relax and, just let those worries we've had recently in the past year just kind of melt away as you're listening to great comedy here in Jessup.
If there's anything we need right now is laughter. More than anything, it makes everybody feel better. Get out, do something. If we can make these shows successful, they'll keep coming here once a month. I don't want to take them to another town. I want to have Brunswick and Jessup, my 2 spots, 2 of my favorite places. So let's keep it going. I need the support from the community, though, to make this happen.
Okay. All right, Bob, any questions or comments for Kevin?
I'm just curious. You said your goal was to be a professional comedian growing up. Who were the comedians you looked up to?
Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Louis Anderson. So many great comics. From a very young age, I was listening to comedy, and I remember it striking on me right away. And I thought, this is the most amazing thing in the world. And then when I was in high school, I found out one of my favorite comedians lived in his car for like 10 years before he made it big. It was 20-year work. I said, that's a long... When you're 18, that seems like forever.
Yeah, it does.
So instead of going to being a comedian, I went in the military. But I really wish I would have pursued it 20 years earlier. I just recently found out one of my favorite comedians now. He was in the Navy, and I was in the Marines. We were stationed in San Diego at the same time, and that's when he started chasing comedy. And now he's huge. I just went and paid and saw him the other night in Jacksonville, and I'm thinking, where would I be had I started 20 years ago and chased that dream then? It's never too late, but I can only imagine how much more I'd be developed in the contacts I'd have made and whatnot.
Well, you hear the stories of these comedians on some of their documentaries, and it's just interesting to hear. Many of them kind of was a group in New York or L.A. or something like that, and they'd worked the clubs and for many years, and they finally became an overnight success 10 to 15 years later.
Yes,
and started making it big, but it does take a while.
Yeah, it's on average before you start getting real work. They say 10 years. I've seen comedians come up 1 or 2 years, but that's just rare. Your normal comedian, you're going to put in 10 good years for somebody says, I like this guy, let's take him on the road, or that kind of stuff. You got to pay your dues, so they say.
Right. Seeing some old videos of Ron White, and boy, he was raw. Oh, was he raw and rough looking, and the hair, and
huge afro going.
Man, he was just man. That's Ron. He was raw. He was rough compared to what he is now. Now today, he's got that timing down. He's got those voice inflections in the face and the wording and the pauses and everything. He's got it down good. And but back years ago, when no one knew who Ron White was until he became part of the Blue Comedy Tour, he was rough.
Yeah, Jeff Foxworthy really helped him out. He said Jeff saw him in a club and pulled him over after the end. He said, hey, you're putting the punchline at the beginning of your joke. It goes at the end. And then he had actually given up on comedy. He had moved down to Mexico and started a pottery farm with his wife. He said, that's it, I'm down there.
Ron did?
Ron was. And Jeff was getting ready to put the blue collar thing together. Went down there and got him, said, come back, I'm going to take you on tour, and made him a millionaire. Now, he just moved to Austin, selling his mansion in Beverly Hills.
So he's selling the mansion in Beverly Hills and in Austin.
All the comedians are getting out of L.A. right now.
I don't blame them.
I can't either. I love California. I lived there for 3 years, but I don't know that I could live there now. And it's just, things are still shut down there. It's still very strict.
Right.
They want to perform. So they're all moved to Austin, going back to New York. Nashville's a hot spot right now. Atlanta's a hot spot. If we ever do leave Jessup, we'll probably end up in Atlanta or Nashville. I love both those places. But for right now, I'm here, and I want to bring comedy to the masses here in Wayne County. Bring some kind of different entertainment.
Okay, that sounds good.
The show here in Jessup is 18 and up. It is separate from the bar. There's a separate bar entrance. Alcohol and food will be served, but you won't be able to go into the bar if you're under 21. Okay. So there's a separate entrance. If you want to bring your 18-year-old son, daughter out, if you're 18, you're listening to that, please come see us. We need support.
All right. This Saturday night, doors open up at 7. Showtime starts at 9. Should go an hour and a half to 2 hours with 4 different comedians, including a national headliner who's been on the Tonight Show. All coming away this Saturday night at Station 6, the old Doc Holliday's on Pine Street in Jessup.
Yes, sir. And from some of the older crowd, I have heard that they want a clean comedy show here in Wayne County. Our stuff is more adult-oriented, but if I can get support for this, I can afford to bring in clean comics and do clean shows, maybe at a local church, at the gymnasium, or something like that. It doesn't always have to be at a bar.
Right.
But I know that if I can see there's interest here in comedy, I'll bring that clean comedy here for people, too. We can do it all.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, good luck, Kevin.
Hey, thank y'all so much for having me on, fellas.
All right, take care. All right, we'll be back more of the world-famous Butch and Bob Show in a moment.
Here's your WIFO forecast. Partly sunny, northeast breeze 10 to 15, highs low 70s. More partly cloudy, becoming mostly cloudy 50 for tonight. Mostly cloudy 70 for tomorrow. Chance of showers after midnight tomorrow night. But Wednesday, showers likely. Slight chance of thunderstorms, highs in the low 70s. And Thursday, mostly cloudy. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, highs low 80s. Georgia meteorologist John Weatherby in the GNN Weather Center.
Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jessup. And Bob, it's good to see local talent fulfill their dreams and try to fulfill their dreams.
Well, it's good to see him fulfilling them. Everybody's got dreams, so it's just interesting. He's just taking it.
He's taking it and running with it. Right. Yeah, I remember him being on here a couple years ago and talking about, how he wanted to become a full-time comedian one day and started doing the shows. And, of course, he won that talent show here in Jessup. And now he's keeping it going. And so Kevin Brigman here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show just a few moments ago. So you say your bracket's all busted up that bad, Bob?
Let's see, I had Illinois in the Final Four, they're gone. I had Ohio State in the Final Four, they're gone. So got Gonzaga and Alabama still alive. But, there's just been a lot of upsets. I mean, Loyola Chicago knocked out both Ohio State and Florida. So,
isn't that something?
Oral Roberts did that.
Yeah.
So. But Loyola Chicago's in the Sweet 16, so Abilene, Texas beat Texas, so there's just been a lot of interesting upsets. So It's been fun to watch.
Well, good.
Hey,
it is good to watch. It is fun.
Virginia Commonwealth, unfortunately, couldn't advance due to COVID, so that's the thing too. You have to worry about this COVID gun hit one of these teams and not get to the finals, because if they can't play, then they don't get to advance. So it's sad to see Virginia Commonwealth. I mean, those kids worked all
year long.
It's just sad.
And boom.
Sad story.
One little COVID case runs it off for everyone.
Yeah, so they were eliminated, and Oregon moved on. So tough break for them.
Yep. All right. Speaking of COVID, it's just amazing to see the video and the pictures of the crowds down at Miami Beach. It's just the bars and the hotels and the beaches are just packed elbow to elbow down there. Of course, no one's practicing social distancing. They don't have the mask on, of course. And now the city of Miami and Miami Beach, both of them have said, we're putting an 8 o'clock curfew. Of course, that ruins everything for the young folks out there, because 8 o'clock's basically when they start showing up.
Right.
And so they're just getting very serious about that down there, because no one's practicing the safety protocols. And they say, well, if you're not going to do that, then you're just going to have to go home, because we're closing it up from 8 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. So they got to be responsible.
Just amazing how so many people just still won't take it serious.
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing how folks don't take it serious. And, I don't got maybe they don't have family members or close friends or people they know that have had a very serious illness from it or have died. And there's just too many people that I know in our family that have had close folks that have died from it. And, but some people, a person that I know and I've known for a long time and who I consider very intelligent, and I hadn't seen them in a long time, and I was talking to them about this, basically being very, very careful this past year until I got my shots. I mean, to the point where I wasn't going out, I wasn't really doing much except for working and things of that sort. And they said, well, I didn't know you were so much of a wimp, Butch. I said, I'm not being a wimp, I'm being careful. I've got an 89-year-old dad and 79-year-old, his wife is 79, and they got health issues, and I don't want to take something to them. So if you don't care about yourself, whether you get it or not, then care about the people that you're around, in fact, that you might have it and not have the symptoms and spread it to someone else. And it just amazed me. My jaw nearly hit the ground when they said, I didn't know you were so much of a wimp, Butch, because you were being so careful this past year, not doing anything until you got your shots. And I can't believe you got your shots. They don't believe in the shots. They're not going to get the shots. No, they're not going to believe the shots, okay? And they're in their 60s, too, now, okay? And they're not going to get the shots. And they haven't been careful and so forth like that. And I'm just thinking, no, I'm doing what I was, advised by the doctors here in Jessup, the national doctors and healthcare professionals and so forth say to do. And also I care about the people that I'm around, and I don't want to spread it to them. But, I was just amazed when they said that. Well, I can't believe you've been such a wimp this year, Butch, and I can't believe you got the shots. That's just all hype stuff. It's all made up, Yeah. And I'm just, geez. I was just amazed. I mean, because I thought they were a very intelligent type person. And in their mind, I guess they still are, but in their mind, it's no big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal. Not going to take the shots. Don't care, just think it's all made up and hype and shots, all the vaccines are for the big corporations to make money, not really to help. And they were just giving me a whole story there about why I'm thinking, holy moly. And I said, well, to each their own. We all got our own opinion. I've taken it pretty seriously and got my shots. And so we'll see. But I know that most people I know have been as careful as they can. Not some of them more extremes than others. Some people have been like me. They really haven't gone out much or done much over the past year, and some have gone out some, and some it didn't change their daily routine in any way. So it's amazing how you can have something out there right in front of people. There's billions of people get infected. There's hundreds of thousands of people dying. There's, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who are seriously sick from it and have to be put in the hospital. There's some who still have ongoing issues with it months later. And people see all that, and it's no big deal to them. It's not real. I don't understand that, Bob, but I was just shocked the other day. So, but, to each their own. They got the right to feel and think the way they want to and say what they want to, and I got the right to feel and think the way that I want to. Problem we have in our country right now is we want to put down, or we want to stop the opinions of someone else. Oh, you don't agree with me. You don't have the right to say that. You're stupid for saying that, or you shouldn't be saying that. And you got one group's wanting to censor other people and all this kind of stuff. But we got free speech in this country. I might not agree with you, and you might not agree with me, but we should agree on the fact that we both have the right to say our own opinions and believe the way that we want to believe and say what we want to say. But you've got some folks out there they'll get on your case if you don't agree with the way they do. I mean, they get down on you and they put you down, and they don't think that you should be able to say that, and they want to censor you and things of that sort, and that's not right. Our country was basically found on the fact that there was free speech. Back when you were living under the king, when we first started this, you couldn't say what you wanted to, or you might be in the gallows. But we should do our best to protect the right of free speech and free press in this country. Well, I get off my soapbox now, Bob. All right, any other sports going over the weekend that you kept an eye on, other than the March Madness?
Just congrats. The Martha Puckett Middle School baseball team won that won the conference championship. Got a chance to go up there and watch that game Saturday. It was a good ball game. Martha Puckett trailed late in the game, 4-3, but came back and won in the top of the 7 with back-to-back triples and went at 5-4. So it was fun to see them win. It was nice to see them. I think Ware County was unbeaten the entire season, so that was the first game they lost.
Wow.
So big win for Martha Puckett Middle School baseball team. So hats off to them. But that was fun.
Way to go. Way to go, Martha Puckett.
Wayne County won Friday night. That was a strange game Friday night. So, I tell me all the time, I've been doing this so long, you think you've seen everything.
Right.
I've never seen an umpire dogging players.
An umpire was dogging players? Yeah. What do you mean, dogging players?
The base umpire.
Was he barking at them? Or?
He was telling our pitchers are not any good. There'd never be a pitcher and start throwing strikes. I'm ready to go home.
You got to be kidding me.
Oh, I'm serious. That's why Barrett got tossed, because Barrett went out there to take Luke, talk to Luke in between innings, Luke Boykin, and he was going, "What's going on?" And Luke told me, he said, that umpire's just dogging me, telling me I'm no good. I'm not a good pitcher. And Barrett turned around and they got into it, and he tossed Barrett out of the game. So, I was just flabbergasted when Luke Boykin during the interview told me what was going on. I've never heard that.
I've never heard an umpire dogging kids.
Yeah, he was just telling me, "You're no good. You're never going to be a pitcher. You can't throw strikes. I'm ready to go home. Let's go. Throw strike." I mean, what? That guy's got to go. I mean,
my word.
I mean, I just when you think you've seen and heard it all, I've never heard.
I've never heard that either.
I mean, I just never heard an umpire dogging high school kids. But hopefully, somebody can get a hold of somebody and make sure he never umpires another high school game ever again. I mean, that's just absurd. I was just flabbergasted. I can't believe it. I was like, what have we come to? I mean, he's not getting paid by the hour.
No, he's getting paid to get there to ump a game, not to express his opinions about his thoughts and feelings of the talent of the players.
I told Luke Boykin when he hit the home run, he should have. I said he's better than I. I would have ran around the base and said, "Hey, ump."
I know what you'd have done, Bob.
I said, "Hey, ump, you might want to get my autograph because I'm playing Major League Baseball. It might be worth something." So.
And we know what you'd have done, Bob. You'd have been in his face.
I would have been in his face.
I know you would.
I just can't believe it. I was like, this guy's. Hopefully, GHSA will do something. I said the phone calls and letters are being sent, but I mean, this guy's got to go. I mean, that's just. I've never
seen or heard that
anything. I mean, I was just flabbergasted.
And like you, we've been doing this since the 70s and 80s,
I mean, I've been doing this I've just never thought an umpire would be dogging a kid, a high school kid, telling me he's no good. You can't throw strikes. You never be a pitcher. You need to get off the mound. I mean, are you serious?
I can't believe that. I mean, I'm sitting here hearing you say it, and I still can't believe it.
I'll tell you, I was flabbergasted.
Jeez.
I was like, what in the world?
Oh, boy.
Just like I said, just when you think you've seen it all, you hear something like that. But like I said, hopefully, I said, we'll call GHSA today. We got the guy's name. We'll file the complaint and see what they do, see if they can do anything. They don't seem to do. If they see the phone number, I have to call from a different line because they've already got my number. They don't really answer my calls anymore. So,
well, you've only done like a couple thousand.
I know all my letters are file 13. So.
Bob Morgan in the trash. Don't even open it up, huh? Someone text in says, we're talking about not believing in something. He says, one person just texted, I don't believe in wrecks, but I wear a seatbelt.
Right.
You might not believe in wrecks, but you see them all the time, but you may not believe them. It's just like, I don't believe COVID's bad, but, we all see people who've either been very, very sick from it or died from it. We know, we might not know them personally, but we may know somebody that's close to them, but it says, that's the tongue in cheek there. I don't believe in wrecks, but I wear a seatbelt. And then someone sent in complaint by parent sent to GHSS. They said
GHSA.
Yeah, GSSA. They said that they're not their. It's not their space coach needs to address. Complaint by parents sent to GHSA. They said it's not their space. I don't know if that was just a word that they were doing voice and it came out something else. But it says coach needs to address. Basically, what they're saying is the Georgia High School Association says, we ain't going to get involved. The coach needs to handle that. He said to tell all the kids from Wayne County who pitched. He said it to all the kids from Wayne County who pitched.
Yeah, not just one.
That ump said it to all the kids from Wayne County. Now, did he say it to any of the Alpine County pictures?
I don't know. I just knew. I just couldn't believe it. I said I talked to Ray Townsend after the game. He said he wasn't paying any attention to him. He wasn't. He just did a listen. But is this the Georgia High School Association? Do they just stay out of local games until it gets state playoff time? Do they just say you do your own thing until high school playoff time, and then that's when we get involved? Is that their authority? They just don't want to get involved in anything. Like I said, they just totally turn a blind eye to everything.
Well, they probably get 100-something complaints a week.
Yeah, they're bad. This. Don't even get me started how bad they are. They're bad, but to sit there and talk trash to a kid, a high school kid, is just unheard of.
I've never heard of that either. I mean, there've been, you wonder about, whether they got good vision or not, but never their opinion about certain players. I've never heard that either. But I can't believe that he said it to all the Wayne County pitchers. Wow, man, the pitch that game.
Luckily, the grandmother didn't know about it that night, or she would have had him in the parking lot beating him up. So
the grandmother would have.
Loretta would have took care of it if she didn't know about it. That's right. She just didn't know about it.
Oh, yep, should have been like you, Bob. Yep.
Loretta would have known that night.
That would have been it, huh?
They were bad. They might have had to call the police at the parking lot.
Well, on that note, I think we'll end the world-famous Butch and Bob Show this morning. All right, have a good day. All right, world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by First Southern Bank, by Murphy Builder Supply, Damon's Famous Fingers of Wings, and O'Quinn & Associates, Sean O'Quinn, Country Financial.
The world-famous Butch and Bob Show.